Thank you all very much for all your coverage and your participation in the reality in the last 48 hours. It's been extraordinary, not only for all of us here in California, but I imagine for people around the world wondering what's happening in the state. It's been a remarkable many months in California. I just got off the phone 5 minutes ago, quite literally 5 minutes ago, with the president, just reflecting on the fact 6 months ago we were battling a fire in Northern California, the Camp Fire in Butte County, and battling fires at the same time concurrently down in Southern California, the Woolsey Fire, now earthquakes. As a former mayor of San Francisco, it's a fourth-generation Californian and San Franciscan, earthquakes are as familiar to me as they are, I think, now to everybody down here. The flag of San Francisco is a phoenix rising that came out of the ashes of the 1906 earthquake. And the phoenix rising is symbolic because San Francisco rose from those ashes and became stronger, more resilient city as a consequence of people committing to each other, committing to a sense of community, committing to their city and the state and this nation, collectively who we are as a people. And I think that resiliency, that same level of commitment is demonstrable when you walk around this community. I've had the privilege of spending time with the mayor, with your district attorney, your police chief, and many other leaders, city administrator, to city council members, members of the Board of Supervisors I've had the chance to talk with. People are more resolved than ever to rebuild, but rebuild with an enlightened sense of what this community can be moving forward. And I think some of the most interesting conversations we had were in that spirit. How can we be stronger? How can we be better? How can we be more self-reliant, not just more resilient as a community? And our expression was one of commitment, not interest, in helping support that cause. As the director said, we're now moving in a new phase, but for me, this phase extends beyond just the immediate term, the next few days, the next few weeks, as all of you move on and the cameras move on, as we move from another natural disaster and maybe man-made disaster. The community here is going to, I think, rightfully expect that the state of California has their back, that the federal government has their back. There's no doubt in my mind, after talking with the president, he's committed in the long haul, in the long run, to help support the rebuilding efforts. We are as a state as well. And so I'm here in that spirit of gratitude, spirit of respect for the leadership assembled behind me, to the first responders, many of them that are getting their first hot meal. Many of them haven't seen their kids. Many of their kids who haven't seen their parents, that are in shock, quite literally in shock, because they're scared to death to go back home until mom or dad get back home. And make them feel safe. To all of those folks out here across not only this city and this remarkable naval base, by the way, a naval base, for those that are not familiar, a naval base that's larger than any other land naval base anywhere in the Navy's portfolio. A third of the land mass of the Navy exists just here in this community. You want to talk about a patriotic community. You want to talk about a community completely tied on the 4th of July to the values and principles of patriotism and love of the flag. Come here on 9/11 when they do the memorial, the remembrance, and thousands of flags are lined up here. The idea this happened on 4th of July and happened right here with the community that really is connected to our armed forces also is a remarkable thing, and just it's a point of spirit, it's a point of pride that sort of extends to this community, extends to our commitment to this community, not just as a state, but I hope as a nation as well. So again, thank you to all of the extraordinary work of the first responders. Thank you as well, in closing, to the community. I just was out at the mobile home park. Many of you have been out to the mobile home park. It's interesting, I was up in a Napa earthquake. Some of the most significant devastation occurred there. It's a socioeconomic issue as well for many that don't have the means or mechanisms to go once they're red tagged. They don't have a place to go. They don't have, in many cases, family members. But that sense of community was alive and well there, and it was wonderful to see. And so, again, just know California is committed to rebuilding. California is committed to this region, and California is committed in closing, to do more to raise consciousness and awareness around the fact that our beauty, California's extraordinary beauty, is defined in many respects by seismology and by these quakes. There's a reason these mountain ranges are here. There's a reason California is what it is. And so the folks in Los Angeles that I know aren't sleeping as well over a 2-night period, we all have an opportunity now to get more prepared, to be more vigilant, to look at our building codes, look at our home hardening, to look at that alert system, and I'm happy to answer any questions about what the state will be doing and has been doing on a state overlay on an early warning system, which we are fully committed to and is a lot farther along than some actually may believe. We all, I think, have a unique role and responsibility to prepare individually to be prepared for the next earthquake of magnitude even greater than 7.1. So thank you all for being here, and we happily, if this is the moment, will take any questions, and any of us here, including Commissioner of CHP and General Baldwin of the National Guard, are all here to answer any of your questions.
You said you spoke with President Trump 5 minutes ago. What promise or pledge or declaration did he give?
Just commitment, whatever you need. That's the words I'm familiar with. The President made those commitments, and for folks in Butte County, made those commitments to folks down in Woolsey, and he's fulfilled that commitment. There's no question, any of you, you've all written and run these stories. We don't agree on everything, but one area where there's no politics, where we've worked extraordinarily well together, is on emergency response and recovery and increasing that emergency preparedness. And this is consistent with that relationship, and I want to thank the President for his outreach, but more importantly for FEMA. We have our regional director of FEMA, happens to interestingly live, Bob, in San Francisco, and he represents this region. We're getting to know each other well because of all these fires and now these earthquakes, and FEMA has just been extraordinary, and that's an extension of our federal administration. Job well done.
Can you tell us on the tour, and did you speak to any residents?
Yeah, we spoke to the residents, but what we saw on the tour is exactly what the police chief said. We saw what many people don't see, and that's what resides inside. The chief has made this point to you over the course of the last few days. I've watched it, I've heard it. He's made it privately in the car as we were touring around. You don't notice the damage until you open that door. We were, forgive me, or for those at Sears, they're happy to hear it. You walk into that Sears, and we were with the gentleman that runs it. He says, this was the damage on Thursday, this was the damage on Friday. And you walk into Sears, you wonder if there's any damage at all. Right when you open those doors, you see something very different. Go to the mobile home park, the same thing. Red tags are there for a reason. You see a few bricks down, but you don't see what's behind those doorways. So folks were making that point, not only first responders and your leaders here, but also the community leaders. It was interesting, just at the mobile home park, they were very pleased that the water was on, but they said slow down on getting the gas back on, just because, this is a challenging time for us, and we're a little nervous about what's going on. It's just, that's the ebb and flow of this moment. But most of the intersections are back up, not all of them. Most of the roads, Caltran, our state transportation folks, got those roads back up. Obviously, our two investor-owned utilities, Edison and PG&E, I think have done an admirable job over the course of the last 48 hours. A little bit more work to do. We were just down at the hospital. Thank you, Jim, and his team down there. Heroic job. That's always the toughest job, and they're battling. Someone said, boy, Jim, you walk on water, and we quite literally were walking on water because it was flooding still in there, and they got to clean up the water. But that's the spirit. Everybody rowing in the right direction. People haven't slept. People doing their job in incredible ways.
I spoke to, since we're talking about damage, I spoke to a mobile home owner whose mobile home was knocked off the support structure, and he got an estimate that it might cost about $10,000 to fix. Yeah. And he says he's not looking for a handout, but he's hoping that there might be low-interest loans available to quake victims. Is there someone who can address the likelihood of that coming into play?
I'm going to allow someone to talk about that in more prescriptive terms. But I will say this. Look, this is the interesting differentiation between these wildfires and what has occurred here. Is most folks, let's be candid, don't have earthquake insurance because they can't afford it. or they just are unwilling to spend the money because the deductibilities are so high. And so in many of these cases, that is a huge out-of-pocket expense. Business interruption, obviously a consequence of someone in a mobile home park. Imagine a $10,000 cost. That's astronomical. So multiple things are happening, and they're happening as they should, in a deliberative manner. You start with local and county declarations of emergency. The state provides that overlay. The President and I just talked about the federal declaration of emergency, and then you move to the next phase of that declaration then that allows individuals to get benefits along the lines of the individual you talk to. So it's sequenced. I have all the confidence in the world the President will be forthcoming in immediate terms with the federal declaration, and then we will move on to the subsequent declaration, which will be done after a very detailed inventory of all the damage. Now, quick point before I turn it over. We were having a conversation in the back, lessons learned around earthquakes in California. It's deceiving earthquake damage. You don't notice it at first. And so it's incumbent upon this community to go through a very detailed assessment of that damage, and we want to be here to help them with the paperwork, literally and figuratively, and to make sure that there's a professionalism in terms of how you assess that damage so that they are eligible for all the reimbursements. But as it relates to the broader emergency declaration and individuals getting that support, perhaps you can talk a little bit more about that.